This one is sometimes true. 3/4 can be seen as 3 out of 4 parts, but as we've seen, right, 3/4 doesn't have to be that. We can have, 6/8, we can have 75%. So you can have, 75 hundredths, right? The same as 75 out of 100. So 3/4 is sometimes 3 out of 4 parts, not always 3 out of 4 parts. This one is sometimes again, 1/2 is always greater than 1/4 as a number, right? 1/2 is greater than 1/4, but this is because these numbers are defined, right, on the number line, defined whole from 0 to 1, right? The number 1 is our whole. However, right, if we don't define the whole, right, this idea of always or only when wholes are the same size, right? 1/2 of a large pi is still smaller than, right, or a small pi. Sorry, my representations aren't super accurate here, but you can see, right? 1/2 of something small is not the same as something big, right? The holes, right? Meaning the hole that you're defining a half or a fourth from need to be the exact same size for that to be true. If the holes, right, or even think about it, like half of that versus, again, 1/4 of that rectangle, right? The half is obviously smaller. And lastly, for this one, if you're doing this before class, this might be new, but if you're doing this after class, as a definition, this is never, right? We should never define fractions as part of a whole. If you're thinking just colloquially or just informally, you can say sometimes. So there's not a single right answer for this one. As a definition, I will encourage you to never say that, but sometimes this is true, right? There are lots of fractions that are between 0 and 1. However, there are even more fractions that are greater than 1, right? 5 halves, 5 thirds, 25 halves, right? 25 24ths. So again, the possibilities are endless. So we really want to pay attention to when these things are true, right? As we've been harping on, paying attention to our language. Fractions as part of a whole should never be the definition. Fractions are way more than just part of a whole. So if you want to think about it as sometimes as a number between 0 and 1, but way more often, there are more examples of fractions greater than 1 than there are even between 0 and 1.